you are not your body.
Yeah.
You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are a spiritual being in this human vessel. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you separate you from this avatar that you're controlling, it helps you, like I said, separate and create distance and space between all the nonsense that's eating you up inside.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's like separation. That's it, and that's non-attachment, right? That's because
Attachment is suffering.
Attachment leads to suffering. It's your Buddhism 101 right there.
Yeah.
In that way, meditation is a practice of letting go, right? So letting go of your attachments. Throughout our day, we're like lint rollers, right? We go through every day and we get shit stuck on us. We could just keep going, or we could tear off a new piece with our meditation practice, let go of all that old gunk and start fresh again and become aware of what's collecting, what's being absorbed, what's sticking to us, right? And that's maybe like an old conversation, an old pattern, something someone said to us, something we saw, an image we saw ourselves in the mirror, right?
And then you're judging yourself.
And then now we have all these attachments that are just limiting our ability to connect with what you said, who we actually are, right?
I love that.
Just layers of illusions.
Right, because you see people walking around with cat hair, dog hair, old buzz balls on them all the time.
Yeah, man.
And they got to let that shit go.
Get a fucking lint roller.
Dude, letting go changed my life. Saved my life.
Yeah.
For real.
Saved my life,
meditation,
too.
Yeah, because you just got this backpack full of fucking burdens and your past and your anxieties and your depression and the things that really did happen to you.
Yeah.
And we're not saying that they didn't happen and horrible things don't happen. But how does it serve you to replay that shit over and over again in your head? It doesn't.
Yeah, and after a while, once you become aware, it's like, why am I carrying this? Like, why am I still carrying this? And do I have to still carry this?
Yeah, and you can ask yourself a question. If I put this down and stop carrying it and let it go and accept it for what it is, will I still survive?
Ooh.
Will I be safe? And will I? And then the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit. And then you physically feel lighter.
Yeah. Just removing that mask, right? Just taking off the mask. Like, I don't have to be that anymore because it wasn't me to begin with.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bridge Podcast. My name is Sean Nixon, and I am your host.
And I'm your host, Jonathan Matthew.
How you feeling today, man?
We're just about 2 days away from the halfway point of the year.
That's
crazy. You know that.
So I seen a thing in
I done seen it.
6 months. 2020 will be 2 years ago. Yeah.
Feels like we've just been in 2020 forever.
Forever.
I feel like it's never going to stop.
That hurts your brain, doesn't it?
It does.
And that's a factual statement. That is factually correct.
Now we're in 2022. That's going to be
what?
synchronization.
You remember all these morons that thought on like New Year's everything was going to be great? Oh, 2020's over. I believe in calendars.
2020 is an idea. Not just an idea, right?
Guys,
come on now.
Get it together. You know better than that.
But halfway point. Good time to reflect on where you're at with your own growth and expansion, right?
I mean, every single day there's little check-ins and there's weekly check-ins, but halfway through the year, what have you done? How far closer to your goals? Are you bigger, better, stronger, faster, smarter than your previous self? Because you can't be comparing yourself to anyone else except for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're better than yourself from yesterday, you're winning.
And if you've been fucking around the whole first 6 months, then
it's gonna show. Man.
And then you also got a whole 6 months to
the
to
glass
change,
is
to
always
change
full.
that, right? You're at the halfway point of the glass, so are you filling that back up?
So beautiful. Everybody's like, oh, the glass half empty. Is the glass half full? It doesn't fucking matter. The glass is refillable at any time.
Exactly.
Keep on going, baby. Keep on going. There's nothing but abundance.
Unlimited tap.
It's unlimited tap of potential. Keep filling that bitch up.
Oh,
Everybody's sitting there arguing over whether it's fucking half empty or half full.
So, bro, just
keep filling it up.
Just drink the fucking water.
Just drink
it's
the
good
water.
for you.
It's good for you.
Hydrate yourself.
And fill it back up. Fill your cup up with love. Ooh. Now we're getting into
Sean Nixon. This
original
gold hits.
Original old hits.
So, I think it was my sister was sent me a meme. It was like, if you were like a '90s kid, if you remember, and it was like the remember those old like the classic love song infomercials on the CDs, and it's like Celine Dion and like Michael McDonald. How am I supposed to live without you? For $19.99, you can get the best songs of the '90s.
And then it was like Now.
Music then there was Now.
27.
Then I grew up with Kids Bop. That was the thing when I was around.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Now 77. That's how many they're on.
Because this is for the kids out there. we didn't have this fancy streaming services where you click one button and every song ever. You had to stay up all night downloading CDs illegally on the old Napster,
on the old LimeWire. Which fucked your computer up, by the way.
Oh, fucked everything up. And then...
Oh, man.
Or order CDs, a little mixtape.
And Netflix. I think I still have a Netflix DVD somewhere. Like the OG Netflix. Right, I know, right?
That's crazy.
It's like somebody somewhere has a Blockbuster VHS that's going to be worth a lot of money.
That always reminds me of the story of Blockbuster was offered to buy Netflix for $4 million.
That's chump change.
$4 million is like the
Blockbuster was
nickel.
like...
Not even to Blockbuster at that time. They laughed. They literally said that. And they said, nobody's going to stream movies on the internet.
The interweb? What a fad.
They literally said that.
And here we are.
Wow. For $4 million, I know it's, what is it, 17 billion now? It's in the billions.
And it keeps going up.
And it keeps going
not
up
gonna stop
for
going
forever.
down.
And you're already addicted when it was $7.99, so they're raising it $1 or $2 every fucking
It's $12.99 now, or is it $15.99? I don't know.
Whatever, something. But it started at like $8.
Well, that's what it's going to be. It's going to just be like, oh, cable was so expensive. We're going to get streaming. Then streaming just becomes as expensive as cable, and there's going to be a new alternative.
A new alternative.
Right.
Ooh, because then you're just tapping into source.
Yeah, right.
Which you can do on
That's
your own.
the real streaming right there.
It's like the real stream of consciousness if you listen to this episode and follow the spiritual practices. So we're going to talk today about Spiritual Practices 101.
Ooh.
So it's...
Freshman year?
Yeah. You've heard about freshman year at Hogwarts. You've heard of spirituality, magic, mysticism, sorcery, wizardry. You've heard all these things, right? And you're like, I have a calling for that or an itch for that or I'm curious, which is great. Curiosity is amazing. Asking questions, finding things out. But where the fuck do you start? Do you go outside, howl at the moon, hug a tree, light a rock on fire, take a bunch of acid? What do you do? We're going to give you some options. Some
all the above.
Stuff. Right. Well, there's no wrong answers there. You cast your own spells. And you have your own rituals and, more importantly, practices. Because planning spiritual practices is no different than planning exercise and nutrition. Okay, it takes a well-planned-out programming and consistency to see results.
Yeah, if you're tracking your macros or if you're recording what weights you did, which you should do if you're doing...
Run time on
exactly,
Fitbit, all these fucking things.
It's awareness, right?
It's awareness of your progress.
It's awareness of your awareness practice.
Whoa.
That's a little awarenessception there.
So the two words there that pop out at me is consistency. Yep. It's the only way to achieve anything in this dimension is consistently doing it over and over again, habits and practices.
Yeah.
And programming, right? So the matrix and the powers that be are going to program your mind for their benefit if you don't program yourself.
Yeah.
And that's just creating healthy habits for yourself.
Yeah.
You are what you repeatedly do.
Yeah, and then going and touch on the consistency thing, I saw a good post. He was talking, this guy, Harry Needham, he's a designer, graphic designer, social media marketer, but he had a good post. I don't know if he got it from somewhere else, but it was like consistency doesn't guarantee you success, but like not being consistent guarantees you won't succeed.
100%.
Sure, right? So like you can't.
You gotta be in the
all
game.
you can do is just be
is show up every day, which is Stephen Pressfield, Word of Art. He's like, you show up every day. He's like, I can't guarantee that you're going to be Stephen King, but I can guarantee you're not going to be nobody if you don't show up every day. Right?
You miss all the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Seriously, seriously. So we're going to plan all this shit out. If there was a hierarchy and a most important order of operations for everybody, the first answer for daily spiritual practice to me would be meditation.
Yeah,
because I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
If you're a fucking boxer, a football player, you work at Amazon, you're a CEO, you're a fucking mermaid, a fairy, anybody, literally anybody. And I can show you the scientific, hard studies.
Yeah.
Measurable
data.
Measurable, quantifiable data that meditation is good for everybody. Right?
Yeah.
Can be beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, and I put it at number one. Again, like best is a weird word to use with this stuff, but it's really just like the most amenable, attainable, and potentially the best too. It has the broadest range of expansion.
And it gives you the most awareness. Like honestly, the rest of them are more optional and
they're like stacking your subs.
Specific, and you're stacking your supplements.
You gotta make sure you get your main guys in there. Meditation's like the main guy. Like that's like it's just like getting protein in.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just like you need that.
The big, I love it. Yeah. So meditation is literally just. And we have many, 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 many episodes on this. Yeah. So go back in time or whatever if you want specifics of meditation. But, once again, the etymology and the root word of meditation is just to become familiar with or to become aware of. So you're becoming aware of your higher self. And you're sitting down, your ego, yourself, and your shadow, or your ego, your higher self, and your shadow, and you're separating those voices in the head, the monkeys on the bed, monkeys jumping on the bed in your head, pinball machines going off of thoughts randomly.
Monkeys playing pinball machines on your bed.
Literally, I've had that. And screaming, throwing poop at each other in your head, right? To know that you, who you are not your body.
Yeah.
You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are a spiritual being in this human vessel. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you separate you from this avatar that you're controlling, it helps you, like I said, separate and create distance and space between all the nonsense that's eating you up inside.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's like separation. That's it, and that's non-attachment, right? That's because
when you're suffering,
attachment leads to suffering. That's it's your Buddhism 101 right there.
Yeah.
In that way, meditation is a practice of letting go, right? So letting go of your attachments. Throughout our day, we're like lint rollers, right? We go through every day and we get shit stuck on us. We could just keep going, or we could tear off a new piece with our meditation practice, let go of all that old gunk, and start fresh again, and become aware of what's collecting, what's being absorbed, what's sticking to us, right? And that's maybe like an old conversation, an old pattern, something someone said to us, something we saw, an image we saw ourselves in the mirror, right?
And then you're judging yourself.
And then now we have all these attachments that are just limiting our ability to connect with what you said, who we actually are, right?
I love that.
Just layers of illusions.
Right, because you see people walking around with cat hair, dog hair, old buzz balls on them all the time.
Yeah, man.
And they got to let that shit go.
Get a fucking lint roller.
Dude, letting go changed my life. Saved my life.
Yeah.
For real.
Saved my life,
meditation,
too.
Yeah, because you just got this backpack full of fucking burdens and your past and your anxieties and your depression and the things that really did happen to you.
Yeah.
And we're not saying that they didn't happen and horrible things don't happen. But how does it serve you to replay that shit over and over again in your head? It doesn't.
Yeah, and after a while, once you become aware, it's like, why am I carrying this? Like, why am I still carrying this? And do I have to still carry this?
Yeah, and you can ask yourself a question. If I put this down and stop carrying it and let it go and accept it for what it is, will I still survive? Ooh. Will I be safe? And will I? And then the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, and then you physically feel lighter.
Yeah, just removing that mask, right? You're just taking off the mask. Like, I don't have to be that anymore because it wasn't me to begin with, right?
It wasn't. I'm playing a role.
I just got really caught up. I went Johnny Depp on this shit, bro. Like, I went fucking Heath Ledger too far.
Yes.
You know,
he's the Joker, fucking 24/7.
Yeah.
How did that end up for him?
Fucking Daniel Day-Lewis just walking around in Abraham Lincoln costume, like.
You must address me as Mr. President.
It's like, sir, you have to pay the toll to get into New York City. He's like, I'm Abraham
Lincoln. A nickel.
He's riding in on a horse. He's like, you see my face on this bill. It's like, sir, Easy Pass isn't Easy Pass lane only.
That's where it was at. He was reading the newspaper from like 1874 and shit.
Immersion.
And like the kid would come by, the intern, like, oh, Mr. Day-Lewis, do you want some coffee? I'm going for coffee. He's like, you must address me as Mr. President. It's not an Abraham Lincoln accent, but you know what I'm saying.
Is there an
How
accent?
Would you do that? Well, you do.
Well, it's old-timey Americans had a British accent.
It's always British accent.
It's always British accents.
It's always a British accent.
If someone's from mythical land like Asgard,
everywhere.
British accents.
I was just talking about that yesterday. What's the dude's name? Hemsworth.
Is Australian.
He's Australian, but his Thor character is more British. He's not doing the Australian accent.
I don't know.
It's in between.
I don't remember what his normal voice sounds like anymore.
It's more Australian.
Is it more Australian?
Australia.
Like a little bit like that?
Australia.
That's
the best, dude.
But no, it's still from Asgard.
I love Australia so much, dude. The people are like fucking. They're like me.
You're just
crazy.
Yeah, you're just like you with a New Jersey accent.
Which makes sense because like ancestors of like English, Irish, Scottish, they sent the prisoners over there. And that's my ancestors.
That's
the fucking hooligans.
The bar fighting brawlers.
Yeah. And they're just over there. And it's like a heavily American culture influenced thing. And then they put their own spin on it. And they're just bad motherfuckers. I have so many Australian friends. It's super awesome.
Aussie.
Yeah, dude, they're badasses. It's so cool. And they're getting fucking raped in the ass by their government, but so is the rest of us.
Some wild stuff. Well, down there is...
Dude, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different level. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Quarantine City.
Why does everybody think that's okay? That's not okay. My goodness. So, meditation. I suggest every single day. Therefore, when you do it every day for X amount of months, you'll have enough awareness of yourself of how often you need it. Because right now, I'm at 5 or 6 days a week. Same thing with exercise. I'm at 4 or 5 days a week because I've done it 7 days a motherfucking week, twice a day, exercise and meditation, for years. And now I know, okay, now I need a little bit more time for work this, that,
Yeah.
the other thing. So I don't go down to 0. I go down to 5 or 6 days a week.
Yeah, and then it's easy. I know for me, like just my personality type, is that when I'm tracking stuff, that can be like a gift and a curse with that. It can be because it really helps me stay on track and just become aware if I stay detached, which is what the practice of meditation is all about. But you can also become obsessive if I'm over, and because if you're overanalyzing your meditation practice, then now you're just, come on, what are you doing?
Yes. We've all seen the catch-22s and the hypocrisies.
Because with fitness, you see it happen a lot. People get really obsessed with macros. People get obsessed with
weighing out grains of rice.
Exactly, right? And so meditation in and of itself is a practice of letting go. So if you miss a session, let it go. But it should be, you can, not should, but you can create some sort of structure and create just a block of space for it,
Yeah. And that's the win in meditation, when that overthinking thought pops in, and then you let that go.
Yeah.
And then you let that go. Am I going to die if I don't? No, that's just the ego doing the chatterbox thing because he's caught in an old pattern. That's fine. I love you, buddy. Sit down.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay. It's literally, we say this all the time, a puppy that's jumping up and down to go outside, or a little kid, we don't have kids, but I can imagine like an anxious 5-year-old, because they got all this energy. But mommy, you're in the grocery store, and it's, I need to put the candy in the, can I have this? Mommy, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I have
shut the fuck up.
Right? How's that going to help if you tell your ego to shut
right?
the fuck up? But if you explain to him, listen, I love you, buddy. Candy's not good for you right now.
Yeah.
Once in a while, we'll have some candy. We'll let you talk. We'll let you fucking go nuts. You can't kill the ego completely.
No.
We'll give you
Nor do you
time.
want to, yeah.
Nor do you want to.
Yeah.
But then you love it.
Yeah.
And you learn to accept it and listen to it and then let it go.
So how did you start?
Meditation? So, wow, that's a great question. So all these spiritual practices for me is a conglomeration of like being
A smorgasbord
of like being born with that inner gnosis and feeling of a connection to nature and spirituality, but just getting a cement truck of conditioning and trauma poured on over the years. So it was like always there. So when I tapped back into it, I was like, oh shit, this feels familiar. You get like a nostalgic, like, this is meant for me type of thing. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Because skipping ahead, we're going to get to psychedelic medicines and plant medicines and exogenous substances that can help your spiritual practices, which are completely not necessary and not for everyone, but can be super beneficial.
Yeah.
Point being is I did all those things before I knew the spiritual aspect of them, so I had blasted the pineal gland open without really knowing how to walk through that door. And then to answer your question, when I was getting into fitness, it was really just a natural thing, like knowing, like, okay, I got all this nutrition information. I'm working out twice a day, but there's got to be more because I'm still not like emotionally happy. Yeah. And I didn't even know the word spiritual at that time. Yeah. And this is before social media, so there was forums, right? And there was bodybuilding.com forum, millions and millions.
Classic.
They like advertise like over.
I was on there. Probably cross paths potentially.
Oh, yeah. And then there's nutrition tab, supplement tab, this, that, exercise programming, Then there was the miscellaneous, and then it was
the miscellaneous
cat jokes, funny jokes, this or that, and then you just click on something random that looks cool, and it's like, oh, a Buddhist quote. And I'm like, fuck, that resonates like a motherfucker. Yeah. Because at the time I'm an angry atheist who thinks Christianity's dumb until I dive into that. And then I see like some Buddhism shit, and then you see people talking about meditation as far as parasympathetic nervous system and how it's going to help. Because at one point I was tunnel focused on just losing weight and being super fit. Yeah. Like I am going to either get a six-pack or die. Yeah. Like literally said that, literally meant that, literally manifested and did that. Yeah. But then you get there, and it's the end of the fucking rope, like that cartoon. He's like pulling the rope, and then you get to the end of the rope, and you're still unsatisfied. Yeah. So I intuitively knew that there was more to life, right? So then, when the Buddhism like rang true to me, then I read some Taoism, I read some Buddhism, and then I was like, wait a second, maybe I should just read the Bible and other Christian texts without the fear, lies, fear-mongering, manipulation, no church attached, no pope, because Jesus is awesome. Christianity can be a very good thing, but like the Pope is an evil motherfucker, and all the wars that they started, it's all horrible. And it's like, so I threw out the baby with the bath. I threw out baby Jesus with the with the rainwater, as it were. So then I got to a point where I was like, okay, let me not do that. So I read all the spiritual texts. I was like, hold on a second.
Wait one second there.
When you're a kid, they're telling you Muslims are evil, and then you read the Quran, and it's like 99% peaceful and spiritual, and they're fucking meditating and praying 5 times a day, and they don't want to kill every white man. Like, it's a complete lie. And a jihad is a spiritual war with your own self for personal and spiritual growth.
Yeah.
And there nowhere ever does it ever say you blow yourself up and kill a white man and you get 72 virgins in heaven forever. That's completely made up. Whether they made it up to brainwash their own kids for war, or whether it was Fox News telling
both.
It was both telling people that so we would go to war with them.
Yeah.
Fucking, I realized I sifted through all those lies, and I was like, let me get my own personal connection. Next thing you know, just through YouTube and, like I said, forums, next thing you know, I'm meditating every morning, meditation and yoga every morning and every night, just as, like I said, a means to an... I didn't think I was reaching any spiritual, talking to God, nutting up the spine, preparing for death, like all these other spiritual, like, means to ends that you get to. I literally was like, okay, this is a way that instead of me doing fucking 2 gallons of coffee and 9 scoops of pre-workout and deadlifting with death metal and gangster rap, I can calm my nervous system as, like, this is scientifically good for my recovery, which it is.
It is.
That was my, like, structured, like, oh, I need to do this because it's going to get me a 6-pack, which is going to get me happy.
It was a supplement to the physical.
It was a supplement to the physical. Thank you. Perfectly said.
So you kind of
I stumbled upon it.
So you kind of like...
Then later in
dog
life,
pilled yourself. You kind of pill pocketed yourself there,
right? Then I stumble with all that new knowledge and practices put in place later in life. Now I stumble back into psychedelic plant medicines with the knowledge of some religion, esotericism, and spirituality.
Yeah.
And then boom, now I'm on the rocket ship and I know how to fucking drive the thing. Yeah. So that's how I, like, got into it, and now it's literally my life's path and purpose, because to me, and this is going to sound cocky, but I really don't care because you know me, the nutrition and the exercise is so easy to me now.
Yeah.
I can do that. You can wake me up at 3 a.m., blindfold me, spin me around, and I can do a full seminar on exercise and nutrition.
Yeah.
But the spirituality path is so interesting to me because it's like, when you're talking about
infinite unknown
man, of, like, spirituality / God, ancient civilizations, and ETs / aliens / beings, there is so much there to know and to not know, but beyond knowing. That is the most interesting shit to me. And it all goes together. That's why we created the layers of the human experience, where there's physical practices, mental practices, emotional, and now spiritual practices.
Yeah, you say, like, fitness nutrition is easy, and you're saying that as someone
I studied
who's taught it, studied it, done it.
Over a decade. Right.
Exactly, correct. So I don't even think that's cocky. I think that's just like...
No, that's me saying what my expertise is.
Yes.
And I'm not an expert in spirituality, but I am balls deep right now.
Balls deep. Balls deep.
And have a lot of practice in that
got some
too.
Reps.
I'm just not. I got some reps.
Yeah.
I'm a white belt with a stripe or 2 in spirituality, with a nice black belt in exercise.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Double belting it right
But
there.
I'm getting there. Right. That's the thing. But I'm getting there.
Just practice, right?
Come on, guys.
Rolling with your shadow.
Practice is every single day, bro. Rolling with that shadow, because it used to just have me in a headlock.
Shadow rolling.
And you would just kick and ignore
and flail. It's like, maybe if I learn how to deal with this.
Fight back. He wouldn't tap me out every 2 seconds, and I want to fucking quit the game and fucking off myself.
And then you learn that squeeze and anger, tension is actually the opposite what you want to do.
You gotta let go, surrender, accept.
Meditation. And
it's so beautiful.
I got into meditation from Kundalini yoga.
Okay.
It all kind of happened simultaneously. Like I heard Alan Watts by accident on the radio, on AM radio, which I've never ever listened to except the one time. Heard a Russell Brand talking about Kundalini. This is when he was just getting into Kundalini yoga.
Oh, yeah.
Had bought the book The Alchemist.
Oh, fuck.
And then ended up doing some LSD with some psychedelic medicine,
spirituality goodie.
And then had a medium reading like 3 months before that, which is actually probably what prompted that. So like all just coalesced at once, and that's why I got into meditation.
Coincidences that coincide perfectly,
that are happened together for particular reasons.
A reason. That's the thing. Yeah. So why call it a coincidence and say it's random when you can call it a synchronicity? So the universe is providing for you.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you do for meditation now?
Now, so I usually do twice a day, and it varies in time depending. Like this morning I went longer than usual. Like this morning I went an hour.
It's awesome.
I didn't time it because I had the time this morning.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll have to cut it underneath like 30.
Yeah.
usually it's a 20 in the morning.
Yeah.
I guess I have to do
20 to 30 seems to be a sweet spot if you're just hitting your reps, if you're just punching the clock.
Exactly, yeah. I've on the weekends if I have time, I'll do longer ones, like hour ones, and sometimes I just gotta and sometimes if I'm just super crazy busy, or if you happen to wake up late or something like that, I'll just crank in a 10-minute one, or I'll make that time.
Well, that's the whole thing. So everyone should meditate every day, and if you're busy, you should meditate longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you figure that one out.
And programming, the way I kind of structure it now and have kind of gotten to rhythm, especially when I fall out, this is really good for getting back in, is set your minimum acceptable, dosage time frame for what is, and set that as low as you need it to be, just to check that box. Like a minute, 30 seconds. You're like, that's too little. I'm not gonna. It's not about getting the benefit right now. It's about setting up the pattern.
Yes, sir.
Because if you can imagine sitting down for 30 seconds for 7 days, that's a win. And we go 40 seconds, and we go a minute, and before you know it, you're chunking it up, right? That just takes practice and patience,
we have so much practice. I can fucking sit in an airplane, and everybody's all stressed, right, and I just drop right in.
Yeah.
We do 30 seconds before each episode.
Yeah.
Of just breathing through the nose, centering yourself, gathering our energy, ready, go, and we fucking record episodes just to center our energy. So I like that. I'm pretty much the same. I do, just to reiterate, because not everybody heard all the meditation episodes, when I wake up in the morning, I don't even touch my phone. I keep it on airplane mode, and I go directly into meditation. So my brain isn't running with to-do list, email, inbox, text, who I got to fucking my schedule, all this shit. It's a fresh slate. Plus, your brain is already in theta brain waves that you're coming out of delta, which is deep sleep, and theta, which is a dream state or a meditative state when you're just about to wake up. Essentially, you're sleepy. It's an in-between spot, like a hypnosis state.
Exactly.
And I literally hypnotize myself and go into meditation. So that means there's no such thing as I don't have time, because I just banged out 30 minutes before I even started my day.
Yeah.
And then certainly on the weekends, I'll do a second session longer. But usually weekdays not, because I'm quote unquote too busy. But if I can, I squeeze it in for sure. And then there's, like you said, there's always the 30-second to 2-minute check-ins.
Yeah. Yeah,
those count, guys.
Yeah, and not this past week, but the 2 weeks prior, I definitely was off the wagon in not a good way with meditation. I've been meditating for years now, so it's but that's an important part of it, though. It's I fell off the wagon. Oh,
awareness. Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah,
no shame.
that's my instinct.
No guilt,
what the fuck is wrong? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Right?
For not, okay.
You should.
Oh, dude, don't shit all over yourself.
Shit all over yourself. Shit in my pants.
That's no good. You shit your pants, and then you're sitting there.
Yeah, and then I'm just before I drive off to go where I'm going, take a car meditation, a minute, 2 minutes.
Car meditation is the best. Shut off the music, shut off the fucking thing, sit up as...
Because then you remember, what's the whole purpose of this? To check off that I did a specific amount of time, or just to
check in with yourself?
Just check in and just to let go. If I can just check in with myself, that's a win.
Because at the end of the day, life is just one big test and lesson in letting go. Letting go of everything.
That's the ultimate test.
It's the ultimate test. Every single thing, including you, including everything that you come across and every person you come across, is temporary.
Yeah.
So the more you hold on to that, the more suffering you have.
Yeah.
So when you learn to let go of your old bullshit and conversations and all these other things, the better you're going to feel.
Free yourself up. Free yourself up to live.
Free yourself. So next in the line, after meditation, I don't know how much of a specific hierarchy there is, but we have next to bring up is breath work. Once again, several episodes we've done on this if you want the X's and O's and the details.
I think 3 parts, yeah.
Yeah, and so the most common times is before or during meditation. But we've done before and during exercise as well. I'm always doing breath work.
I do it all the time.
All the time. So the most 101 breath work is awareness of the breath and breathing through your nose 24/7. Then you can get into the locks and fancy breath work practices or even scheduling. Like I said, there's a Japanese study that shows you can change your entire brain state, heart rate, and blood pressure with 6 deep breaths. How long does that take? 10 motherfucking seconds.
I don't have the time, Sean.
Right. If you don't have the time, and the studies show you only need 6 deep breaths to change your entire state of being, then what the hell are you saying?
Yeah, this is one where I could see maybe switching the hierarchy, but again, it doesn't really matter too much because you're always breathing. So you literally can't say you don't have time.
Right.
Unless you spend a significant amount of your time holding your breath during the day.
Sure, but the awareness of it is what makes it breath work.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
wheezing out the mouth and you're just fucking floating through life, eating Cheetos, farting under the fucking covers, you don't know what you're watching Netflix. That's not awareness of the breath. But bringing awareness to it, that's what our friend Maggie Dong said. Anytime you have awareness and you're present in the present moment, that is a type of meditation. So when you bring awareness to your breath, that is the beginning stages of breath work. And like I said, there's Wim Hof, breath of fire, a million different things we've gone over, where your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual practices of breath work. But that's a great tool in the toolbox to have is breath work.
And that's why when you start most meditation practices, or if you've ever done a guided meditation practice or gone to your beginner yoga class, the first thing you do is focus, come to the breath, focus on the breath. Because it's always happening, right? It's always happening. So it's one constant that you can come to.
So where I started and first learned about breath work, honestly, was Wim Hof. Like old school Wim Hof. There was Wim Hof and...
When did he become a...
So big seems like the past year. But
big.
But doing stuff more than 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like 2016, right when my awakening.
2010, I can remember reading Dr. Jack Cruz and Wim Hof, both doing like cold plunge stuff, and then Wim was like, not because then I got into cold showers through Jack Cruz, Dr. Cruz, cold showers, cold bath or whatever. Once again, not knowing mental, emotional, spiritual.
Just for the physical.
He had a study showing it lowers brown adipose fat.
Yeah, that's about a big
and
one.
Stubborn lower belly fat. So I was like, I'll
Six-pack.
freeze myself. I'm serious. then I'm like, oh shit, you get high off of this and connect yourself to the universe.
Well, it's a little nice little side effect.
Right, but that shouldn't be a side effect. That's what
the main effect, right?
That's the main effect. But then that led me to Wim Hof, the Iceman.
The Iceman.
Chocolate Dell and Wim Hof. I was thinking that.
Two ridiculously different people.
My favorite guys. So then Wim also does cold plunge and cold type of feats of strength, right? And willpower. But he's the one that's like the way you're going to stay in longer is if you concentrate on your breath.
Yeah, he's known as the Iceman, but it's all because the only reason he does these ice stuff is because of meditation breath work.
100%.
That's just a medium. The ice is just a tool. Right?
And now I do mini breath work during meditation, so that's every day. Mini breath work before and during lifting weights. Mini breath work before and during yoga and sprints. So now if you add all three of those physical exercises up, that's 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Plus the meditation that I mentioned. And then, like I said, before speaking engagements, Instagram live podcasts, interviews, etc., we do a mini breath work. Yeah. How did you get into breath work?
Same thing. Kundalini yoga. So
it's all together, right?
Yeah. So like I said, I did it all kind of at once, or I kind of opened up to it all at once. And then that's what I got into mantras, which we'll talk about too. But I got into a lot of different types of breath work that's not typical to yoga, just specifically to Kundalini yoga. Yeah. You got but like you said, breath of fire. In yoga, they mentioned there's only like 3 types of breathing. There's your inhale, the exhale, and there's the holds, right? And so those are all just the manipulation of those 3. It's kind of like boxing. There's only like a couple different types of punches, which is how you organize, and that makes you a master boxer, right? And how you organize your breath, how you connect to it, right? And so I do the same. At some point, I hit at least 7 days a week doing something. I teach yoga class 3 times a week. I lift 4 times a week. I meditate
and you're
almost
breathing
every day.
During all that.
I'm doing all that, yeah. And then, just like meditation, I'll do mini breathwork checks too. That's an easy one, right? Like that's a.
When you have practice, it's easy. That's why these are practices. Because a lot of times, like I said, people will have a good connection with nature, but then they're also in the matrix and they see a meme or some of their friends are into spirituality. Yeah. And some of it's too out there hippie for them as far as readings and mediums and talking to spirit guides and eating mushrooms and all this crazy shit. But they're like, crystals look really cool.
My name is Flower Moon.
Yeah, and sometimes
that pushes people away.
Right. But I know so many people that are just like, I never even knew the word spirituality, but I was always drawn to crystals. Like, they're so cool to me. Just pretty rocks.
Pretty rocks.
They realize different ones hold different energies and do different things. Right. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. And then it's a little rabbit hole. So like I said, for now, a lot of times it's Instagram, TikTok, whatever the fuck. Somebody's seeing a meme or a video and they're like, whoa, that resonates.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Curiosity. What's going on here? Right. And like I said, you never have to get into medicines. You never have to get into crazy shit. But you can, you said it perfectly on one time. It's like, whether or not you think you're spiritual, you have a spiritual connection. We are all connected, and you are connected to the universe.
Yeah, you don't have to believe it, but it's happening. It's true.
Believe it or not.
You don't got to believe the world is, spinning. That's probably more safe to say. Spinning.
Some people won't say that.
Some people won't say that either, right? We're just a static little simulation, right? Potentially, but.
Essentially, for sure. Yeah. Metaphorically, 100%. And,
metaphorically, 100%.
Reality, potentially.
Potentially.
And once again, when Rogan had on the statistician, he said he did the math, and there's a more likely probability that we're living in a simulation than not.
Yeah.
What now?
I don't know what he's basing that off of.
Some type of math.
The math
is loosey-goosey.
Math
is he's made to be manipulated. Yeah. But the point is, he's not saying it's a 1% chance or a 0% chance. He's saying better than 50% chance.
Yeah. It's starting to feel that way.
Really feels like a movie. Or I like to think of it more like a video game, where it's like you're not in control of everything, and there's NPCs, there's non-player characters, and there's different boards, but you're leveling up.
Yeah.
And you're not in control. You don't know what's coming next, but you do have control over your character.
It's like an open world video game.
It's an open world video game. You can change your GTA. Name. You can change your hair. You can get a tattoo. You pick up a new weapon. You pick up a new skill. You get better. There's practices. You die.
What do I want to level up? What do I want?
So that's like, even if it's not a simulation, metaphorically, the video game thing works really well.
Yeah.
So, moving on from breath work, the biggest spiritual thing is knowing that you are nature. So, to get back into nature with a grounding practice, nature immersion, hiking, camping, putting your feet in the dirt, smelling fresh air, sunshine on your face.
Jumping in the mud.
Rolling in the mud. Seeing a fucking tree, seeing a squirrel, getting some type of connection to nature. Yeah. That is a spiritual practice. In and of itself.
Yeah. Literally the entire planet. If you are a spiritual being and everything that's you're made of, like, where do you think you came from? Like, where do you think, like, on a scientific level, where do you think the atoms that make you up came from? Right?
Star stuff, bro.
They came from the food you eat. You can say that, and you can say, where did that come from? And you can go back, you keep asking the question, where.
Even if you're super into the truther stuff of knowing that school is a lie, or if you're fully immersed in the Matrix and you believe everything, even Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson will say you are star stuff at the end of the day.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whether you know you're a intergalactic star seed and you have 12-strand DNA and like all this other like shit that deep spiritual people get into, or whether you believe the books 100%.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying that we're stardust at the end of the day, and everything is everything.
You break it down to the most simple component. You're just energy, right?
Isn't that E equals MC squared? Energy is matter.
Yeah.
Speed of light. So everything equals everything.
Everything equals everything.
And everything is connected.
Would you look at that?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everything in the universe is connected. Everything on Earth is connected. Everything in the human body is connected. And we are connected. And we are part of nature. So, okay. So pretend like you don't know any of that. And you're just into like Darwinism and evolution and whatnot.
Okay.
You were a monkey, and then ants build ant hills, bees build beehives, humans build technology.
Yeah.
So we just built cities. It wasn't that long ago when we were in the trees and then the grasslands and then tribal huts and then nomadic and then farming's only fucking a little bit more than 10,000 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Not that old.
Jesus. And then cities.
Yeah.
So you're not that far removed from literally being a caveman ape in nature.
And the span of the universe, you're not that far removed from being, if you believe, again, the evolutionary of evolution, that deeply, a tadpole, at some point.
100%. 100%.
So that's literally, if you want to use that perspective, you were at one point something that is everything, right?
And just for perspective, once again, going to like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think it's on the new Cosmos show or whatever. He's like, the human history that we know of, if you're looking at a football field that's 100 yards, the recorded human history that we know of, like if everything is the football field, the recorded history that we know is one little half a blade of grass off of the first yard line.
Will she?
Like a centimeter past the goal line.
Perspective there
is
for
all
you.
we know and have recorded and have lived through.
Yep.
As actual humans. The other 99.9% of the 100 yards of the field, like if you can imagine looking down a football field, is all prehistory, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's recorded history that's bigger than your just lifetime, which you can even fathom. Right? So
unfathomable.
It's a natural world.
We've talked about this before as far as like daily, weekly, and quarterly practices to get into nature. I take walks every single day where I'm near nature. About every week I'll go to dog park and hiking and stuff like that. And then quarterly there's either camping or some type of
trip.
Fancy camping and trips and stuff.
Glamping?
Like that. Yeah. I didn't want to say I forgot the word for that, and it sounds a little weird, but kind of that.
Yeah.
Like renting a cabin and making a fire and going for a hike with the phone on airplane
There's
mode.
a time and place for both.
There's a time and place for both.
Glamping makes it sound like you're prissy, but it's just like it's not.
It's like you're just not really roughing it. Because when people ask me, I've never been camping, what should I do? I always tell them there's stages to it. There's like, grab just a tent and a lighter and walk into the woods, and that's your lowest level. Yeah. But then
that's hard mode.
Hardcore.
Extreme.
Right. Then there's like a campsite where you have a tent, but there's also like running water and electricity. Yeah. Then there's like a little cabin. Then there's like a full Airbnb, like a nice house that's in the woods.
That's in the woods. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like 4 levels of camping.
Yeah. All 4
all is in
fun.
nature, and they're all different kinds of fun for different setting and people and timing, and they're all just getting out in nature, just going out, turning off your phone, staring at the moon, staring at the stars, and just being in awe of the universe.
Yeah, my 2 favorite nature practices are going outside to see the sunrise and then the sunset.
Oh, come on, guys!
Like 2 of my favorite things. Just when I die, it's gonna be 2 of my favorite things ever. Just. I never get tired. Like, I never get tired.
Yo, imagine that. Yo, that's so funny.
The day I ever get tired of a sunrise or a sunset, I'll be dead.
Oh, my God. If you ever look at a sunrise and sunset and you're not in awe, I'm
in awe every single time. Even the not-so-good ones are, like, still amazing.
They're all amazing.
They're all amazing.
This just reminded me, like, every full moon, I'm like, oh, my God.
Like, whoa. Like, I've never seen it before, you know?
Fucking 13 times, fucking 35 fucking times.
The sunrise, it's always different, you know. It's never the same. It's literally always different. It's like a snowflake every day, a colorful snowflake every day.
Goddamn snowflakes.
And it's just again perspective. Just like there's that ball of fire that keeps us alive. That's rotating.
Once again, religion, spirituality, every tribal civilization, every ancient civilization. You either worship the sun or you respected it for sure.
Yeah, there's your duality.
I guess this is a spiritual practice. This is some hippie nonsense, but it works for me. When I go out with the dog in the morning, it's pretty early enough where you can stare at the sun.
Yeah, just over the horizon.
Yeah, and I literally sun gaze for a minute and just say thank you, and express.
That's awesome.
And feel and say out loud and to myself and literally feel in my heart gratitude for the sun. Yeah. And it beats on your face, so there's like a physical sensation that's going with it. You're like, oh, thank you. And it could be like, thank you for the vitamin D, but it's like, literally, thank you for everything.
For life.
For life.
On Earth.
Because that's one thing that we can all agree on. I think it's the bees, the trees, and the sun. Yeah. I don't care what country you're from, what political divide you are, what religion.
Bees, trees, and the sun. Maybe that should be our political party, the Bees, Trees, Sun Party. BTS.
It'll be shut down real quick. Because, I mean, then you got fucking whatever.
We get the bee vote. That's big.
I don't want to talk about Bill Gates. Oh, I like that. The bee market.
The tree vote?
The bee and the tree vote is good if they got the vote. What else? So here's maybe a journaling practice is a nice spiritual
I'm a big
practice.
Journal guy, yeah.
Because what that is part of writing stuff down is using the journal as an external hard drive to get stuff out. So you could be writing your to-do list and what you're grateful for in the morning. You could be jotting stuff down in the midday or writing affirmations and manifestation, repetitive stuff. Or at night, just writing things that you learn, things that you're grateful for, and then spitballing everything to get it on paper so that when you shut the journal, you can shut your brain easy when you put your head on the pillow. Yeah.
Meditation, like we mentioned, is a great practice of letting go and acceptance, and journaling can be a really good tool for, like you mentioned, gratitude, forgiveness, also letting go, but all those things are just a great medium to get it out of your head.
Forgiveness saves lives, dude.
Yeah, really does.
And the first person you need to forgive is yourself. Holy moly.
Try writing that down. Like, I forgive myself for...
And really feel it. Like, when I journal, I maybe binaural beats or whatever, but if I have a podcast, an audiobook, or music, or the TV on, I shut that shit off so I can be real present. Because there's a big difference to me. Jotting shit down as you're going and versus doing something versus being present when you journal and really reading, seeing, and feeling the words. Yeah. Big difference to me. And like you said, forgiveness, that is a spiritual practice to me. Forgiveness. So you can forgive yourself in your head. You can write it down, or you can go to the person and look them in the eye and forgive them.
Yeah. All letting go of that attachment to the situation, the person, the idea, what you did, who you are.
That's it.
Who you were, right? So.
And another spiritual practice, gratitude. So, like I said, saying please and thank you and having a gratitude exchange to other human beings, amazing. Being grateful for just waking up in the morning, the sun, the wind, water, animals, trees, whatever, just that type of gratitude, or writing down things as a spiritual practice in your journal, what you're grateful for.
Yeah, and gratitude is a really great way to just see literally all the things you assume about your reality. Like you assume that you're going to wake up tomorrow.
Oh.
But the average person doesn't think about, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow.
Oh my God, you're right.
How often? I just get down with this. I was listening to one of Whitney's Instagram lives,
and
they're talking about death. And I downloaded that app. We croak, and so I get these little reminders like
genius
about death or to pop into because I like talking about death because I enjoy the pain and suffering because I know how important it is for transformation and spiritual growth.
Well, the pain and suffering isn't the fun part.
No, it never is. That's not supposed to be.
What did Ramdas say? He goes, I'm not looking forward to the leading up to death, but I'm really looking forward to death. It's a nice transition.
Yeah, that's all. Death has changed. That's all it is, right? So
that's it. It's just another.
And that's that ultimate letting go.
Graduating, of life. Right? It's letting go of this body and this ego because you, who you are, is an eternal soul. Yeah. There's nothing. Death is completely safe.
That's
for your soul. Now, your ego and your body, you're going to die, and that's.
But you were never them anyway.
But you prepare for that
with these practices.
Forgiveness, gratitude, meditation, letting go.
But yes.
So you've talked extensively. I think for time's sake, we can move on past journaling because
we have a couple episodes where I mentioned,
and there's so many episodes. So next would be another one we could just briefly touch on because it's a spiritual practice that not everyone needs, but if you do need it and you don't do it, it'll be beneficial. And if you do it and you fall off the wagon, you should be doing it. And that's art or any type of creative practice. If you are an artist and you have another job that's not art, go back into your art. If you're an artist and you have art that pays the bills, go back into your creative, passionate art separately or whatever. And if you're not an artist, tap into whatever is creativity for you.
Yeah.
And we've talked about before, I always thought because I can't
draw like a
sing,
Picasso
dance,
painting,
draw, and paint and shit that I'm not creative or I'm not an artist until I realized like when I cook, I'm creative.
Yeah.
When I do bodybuilding, I'm creative.
You made a sandwich, you created. You made
something. Yeah. You had an idea and you broke down materials and you created a new thing into existence.
And it's just like we talked about. You mentioned the very very beginning in terms of like imagine drawing. Like people say I can't draw. Well, it's like, could you lift weights at one point when you first started? It's like, well, could I lift 225 of this? No. How'd you get good? Years of practice and study, right?
Years of practice.
Dr. Strange.
But practice and study.
Practice.
Years of it,
right?
Boom.
So that the reason why the artists who do that are successful, some of them are sure have like genetic gifts and whatever. I know people who can, from their mind draw. That's not the point, right?
But Picasso did hundreds of thousands of paintings, and less than 1% of them got famous.
Yeah. And most artists don't get famous till after they're dead.
Most of them.
So in their life, they're starving, poor, and they're just doing it because they love to do it, because that's what their spirit is telling them to do. And it's a great practice of letting go. When I studied architecture for a hot sec, a year in school, and we had this guest teacher come in, and none of us knew him in our section, whatever. And he had us do the first exercise. We had to draw this. I forget exactly what we had to draw, but it was like make a detail, make an important, meaningful for this one project. And at the end of it, we were all done. He's like, okay, I want you to take it, tear it up, and throw it out. And most of the class were like upset. They were like, I'm not doing that.
I have an emotional
I worked so hard on this.
So hard
but that was a huge lesson that, like in the moment, I didn't get freaked out because I was like, I was curious. I'm like, there's something to this.
Yeah,
guys,
he's
not doing this because he hates your art.
Yeah, right. You got triggered, but you didn't take a time out.
What's happening? What's really happening here?
What's really happening here? I always love that. Looking for
what's the rub? Like, what's the punchline?
Looking for the lesson. Right. You've got to be saying this for a reason.
Exactly. Right. So art is a practice of letting go and just expression. Just
get it out.
It doesn't need to be. You have an expectation of what it's supposed to be, which is why it holds people up.
And there's no supposed to be. It's fucking singing in the shower. It's gardening. It's cooking. It's drawing stick figures. It's whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be good.
Doodling.
And then people fear, shame, and judgment from others to express and put out and publicly show their work, which is a whole nother thing.
That's
letting go of other people's judgment.
Yeah. Or a system that says art isn't real, like an important thing.
Well, that's the most biggest bullshit ever. Because I'm saying in this matrix of money being fake and politics being fake and plastic and things that are artificial and synthetic and man-made, the only thing that's real is love, art, and nature. Creativity, the nature of the the elements, of nature. And then I guess love and creativity are like the same fucking thing. So art is as real as it motherfucking gets.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, artists and athletes always get shunned in school. Maybe not shunned, but like pushed to the side more than the straight A student in molecular biology.
Who's going to go to finance major? Yeah.
I got to write the times tables out 17 times when I got a calculator in my pocket. I can't use my time and energy for something more creative that's going to benefit my mind, body, spirit. And
even if you are that molecular biologist, finance guy, that art practice is going to help you so much.
Fucking play the cello, kick a soccer ball around.
Chris Cooley, Redskins tight end?
Yeah.
You remember him? I remember just when he was like in his heyday and was like a top 5 tight end in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Did a thing on him, and he just like loved to do pottery. He just like, he's like, I just love to make pottery. He did a whole thing of it. And so it's like,
creativity.
I remember like, that's weird. Like when I was a kid, like, or interesting.
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 But it made him happy.
You wouldn't expect that, but it made him happy. He just like doing it.
Thinking in boxes here.
Yeah.
So then you got spiritual practice of charity, service to others, reciprocity. So giving back. Okay, there's letting go, but then there's giving back. And then when you realize in your spiritual fucking path, in your spiritual awakening, that everybody you meet is just you in a different body.
Yeah.
And the more you give, the love you make is equal to the love you take.
Even if you're not Christian, go watch A Christmas Carol again.
Guys.
Letting go of death and then giving back.
And there's a and then pretend you're an atheist and you don't believe in any of that shit. The universal law of reciprocity is a big deal. Okay? So the best feeling in the world is you get what you give, dude. You gotta give to heal. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Feels good.
Man.
Feels good.
So good.
Even if you are doing it for like that selfish feeling of good, in the grand scheme of things, something positive happened when you gave. So even if it, I'm saying, so like karmically, ideally, selfless giving is fantastic, but just giving for giving, is good too.
Yeah, there's energy to everything.
There's
so it's like if you're giving just for the tax write-off or something, that's a little different than the energy of just selflessly practicing charity, service, and reciprocity. You know what I mean? Like
giving because I can and I.
Our boy Ram Dass, was super. Made millions after graduating from Harvard, right? But he was still empty inside.
Yeah.
He didn't feel whole and complete. So he went to his guru, and his guru, he thinks he's going to get the magical potion of these LSD elixirs, and you go into a cave and you fast and you meditate and you say this chant on the full moon with your left nostril open, whatever the fuck. And the guy just goes, feed people. And he goes, what are you talking about? And he goes, all right, so I pretend like I know more than him. So I fucking try to trick him and ask him again. He goes, how do I get enlightened? Yeah. And he goes, serve people. Yeah. And he goes, there's people that are suffering. Yeah. And if you help them, it will help you. And he goes, oh. Yeah. I bought a whole bunch of cars and clothes and fancy ones and zeros in the bank account, and I felt like shit. But if I go and help people, fills my soul up. Yeah, fills my heart up with love.
Yeah, it's a fantastic feeling.
Fuck, it's real good. So do that. Okay,
yeah, do that.
Next is holidays, rituals, ceremonies. So this is where we're either melding in. We're keeping our atheist homies. We're assuming our spiritual homies are open-minded to all sides, so they're already in with us and doing their own rituals and whatnot. And then we're bringing in the religious homies as well, because at the end of the day, they're just looking for their spiritual practice. And now we're all coming together, right? So holiday is just a holy day, right? So whether you're worshiping the sun, moon, stars, or any separate religion,
sweet baby Jesus,
there's certain days that you're doing certain practices, okay? And then there's ceremonies, be it whatever. Bar mitzvah, Ramadan, Christmas, all those things are rituals for a reason. And if you take away the control systems and the hijacked, fucking commercialized, fear-based nonsense out of it.
If you really just take the peopleness out of it, like the human beingness out of it.
Right, it's a spiritual practice. So the ceremony can go on and on and on. Like we said, Muslims praying 5 times a day facing towards Mecca, but they have certain chants and a certain pose and a certain mat with a certain intention and connection to God and whatever. Like you said, coming of age stuff, fucking quinceañera, bar mitzvah, like you said, communion, all these things. Different cultures, tribes, and civilizations and religions have different things at different times that symbolize and mean certain things.
Yeah, some level of spiritual growth, some part of a spiritual practice or a remembrance of a significant spiritual event.
A wedding, a funeral. These are fucking things that are for a reason.
Yeah.
Right.
And it brings in community too. It helps you connect with a spiritual community or a community. If you're an atheist, again, you are still a spiritual being, whether you're not identify as spiritual. So you're connecting with other spiritual beings, right?
Because I could be atheist all you want, but like
the connection you feel to your best friend is a spiritual connection, right?
Whatever, thank you.
Or your spouse or whoever it is, right?
Anything, you fucking dog.
Your dog,
It's beautiful, all right? Then this one's going to be more of a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual practice. You got your yoga, your tai chi, and your qigong. All same, but different. Yoga, the yogic practice, the yogic lifestyle has 8 limbs of yoga, right? How many of those limbs are physical? One. So 1/8 of the whole pie is stretchy pants and poses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other 8 are spiritual practice. The other 7 of the 8 are spiritual practices.
Yeah. And then, the physical practice in and of itself is really just about manipulating and moving prana, that life force energy in the body, and just preparing the body for meditation and spiritual practices.
Yeah, and my man Yogananda was like, yoga's awesome. I just do it so my body's flexible enough to sit in meditation.
That's all it is.
That's
really all it is. Right? You don't need to do a one-handed inversion to sit and meditate.
But if you want to.
Like the OG, like if you look back at like the original poses, there's only a few, and most of them were just different variations of seated postures.
Yep.
There was like your kneeling pose, your lotus pose, all poses that just help to support the spine.
Well, now you get into the old spine.
Spine.
That could be the whole
conductor
spiritual practice.
The Tesla coil.
God is in your spine.
Yeah.
Yogananda said it, and my man fucking Bobby Hamet says it. Like he's so funny, dude. I gotta get you more videos of his.
Yeah, I haven't seen much.
He's talking about like, he decodes the Bible completely and pulls out all the spirituality. But he fucking yells like Alex Jones and shit, so it's amazing.
That's a good combo.
I saw a video the other day. He's like, "Are you motherfuckers gonna start doing your magic that God gave you, or are you just gonna keep participating in the they killing us all rituals?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Because right now they're casting spells on you through the TV, the books, the religions, the schools. Every time you turn on the TV, they're casting spells and programming you. Or you could wake up and realize
programming.
God is in your spine, and Christ consciousness is the Kundalini energy in the sacrum, and you pump that shit up to the fucking pineal gland, and you blast yourself in the universe. You have God within you." They chose what verses to read to the slaves to keep you in fear and in a lower vibrational state. They read you bedtime stories to keep you asleep, where Jesus was talking about enlightening you. Christ consciousness in the 12 disciples is the ladder, the stairway to heaven is your spinal column.
Dude,
like all these like metaphors he's pulling out, and it's just a black dude yelling.
Combine them all together.
Sweating. Dude, it's so
that
good.
Sounds awesome,
bro. It's the best videos. And he's like, ancient Egypt. They went in there and they fucking stole all the gold, but then they stole all the magic tricks and they took it to the Vatican. And then guess what? They gave you dumb motherfuckers all the shit to keep you asleep, but the magic is still there. And then he breaks it all down, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, if you look at the spine, there's like a really great image of just it being representative of the lotus, right? The way a lotus is, it's a water plant that has a whole root that goes down.
God was made in man's image. As within, so without. As above, so below. He's like, it's all there. It's all fucking. They didn't hide it. They just changed the words and gave you some fancy character
The writing
names.
is on the wall.
Literally, he just says shit like that, and then he'll break it down. And that's my favorite thing. He's like, are you guys gonna do your magic, or are you just gonna sit there and let them keep doing these? They're killing everybody rituals on the TV because right now they're doing that to you. You know what I mean? And once you're aware of it, so he's my man. But
and then like qigong. Chi and prana is essentially the same thing, that life force energy. Energy. So yeah, chi is just qigong and tai chi. Tai chi is a martial art that uses qigong, but qigong is essentially just that energetic well-being health practice, right?
Yes. So then let's get into another spiritual practice, right? We're talking about just like a sorcery toolbox. This is completely optional, and it's so optional. This is where a lot of people like start and finish and have their business, lifestyle, and spiritual practice. But if you're not into spirituality, you never even have to dip into this toolbox.
Yeah, it's also where it's like that dividing line where it's like some people are like, that's a little bit too much for me, which is fine.
This is a little too hippie woo-woo.
It's not super necessary, right?
Me. And then some people are like, I'm never going to meditate, do breath work, and do mushrooms, but like I fuck with crystals and tarot cards all day, and I go hiking in nature. Like, and I am spiritual as fuck. We know those
there's again
sorceresses and witches.
However it comes to you.
So a sorcery toolbox, a smudge kit. I got 9 types
Silly
of
week
sage.
at Hogwarts.
Dude, I got fucking 9 types of sage, Palo Santo. I got white copal I'm burning. Why do you think it's a coincidence?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. That baby Jesus is born, and the 3 wise men show up with what?
Hooked on phonics, boombox,
a boombox, and a fucking iPad. No, they showed up with fucking frankincense, myrrh, and what was the other one? Sage.
That was gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Okay, so gold is a conductor of electricity like a motherfucker. So that's some extra magic that we fucking really get into.
And just representative.
Because the pyramids were capped with gold before they got raided. So that's how their energy portals. But that's a whole nother episode because y'all ain't ready for that. But
frankincense is correlated to the pineal.
Come on, guys. You light it up. You're fucking going to see Jesus, baby. And you're connecting to God. So, like I said, Palo Santo, it's a stick of wood. It smells good. It's nice. Is it killing evil spirits? Maybe, maybe not. But it fucking makes me feel good and it smells really nice.
Yeah, I mean,
this centers me.
It's another one of those, like, the Sorcery's Toolbox is, like, just try it.
Yeah, pick what you like. Discard what you don't like. So, smudge kit is,
doesn't all have to work for you. Don't force it to work if it's not, right?
Tarot, oracle, any
divination method,
tools where you're
pendulum,
getting your ego out of the way and letting your intuition show you something that's a little riddle that gives you a little clues, motivation, and inspiration to live a better life.
And I'd say a lot of the the sorcery
so
toolbox,
surface level. Like anybody that really knows this shit thinks we're morons, but maybe it's enough to get the people that have never tapped into any of it curious enough. Yeah,
and if you already, again, established like a meditation breathwork practice, and this is like, then it feels like this might make more sense to you once you tap in that space.
I start combining everything.
When put them all together.
My breath work, I'm lighting some sage. I got my cards out. I got my crystals out, because that would be the next thing. I don't know how much you want to talk about tarot and oracle.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just tapping. It's just really clearing out. That's why I say like meditation is a good place to start.
Oh yeah.
Before it's hard. It's not hard, but it's difficult to go reverse. Like I wouldn't start with the sorcery toolbox and then go to meditation.
Over cards.
Yeah, because then you know what your ego is attaching to. You have a whole bunch of stuff that's in the way, right? So this is really good. Once you've cleared out the way, you can actually tap into it.
I don't like that. Shuffle them up again.
No, that wasn't me. That's not me. That's probably the lady over there.
That's not good. She's got a sword through her head. That card doesn't look good.
I don't like that one. That looks bad.
Oh, the tower.
The tower. Yeah, I was about to say the tower. No,
scares everybody.
And
so then crystals. Some people think that's stupid. Some people think they're shiny, pretty rocks. You could both be right. Who cares? But when you know that each one of them, not conducts, but holds on to different types of energy, you can use them for so many different things. Looking nice on an altar, holding during meditation or breath work, placing them on you when you sleep, do things. Healing energy with crystals. Like if you're a Reiki practitioner or you're doing self-Reiki or anything, holding on to looking at with intentions and utilizing crystals is cool.
Yeah, and I kind of like imagine them again relating to the physical or workout. Like they're just like supplements that you would stack, right? Like that's not the meat and potatoes necessarily, but they're supplements. If you know how to use correctly, can be beneficial.
Little booster.
Yeah.
Chanting. So that would just be, once again, we've done episodes with chanting and mantras, but basically at this point, if you want to get scientific and not into hippie woo nonsense,
vibration,
we're talking
sound
about
healing,
sound healing, vibration, and vibrating the vagus nerve. That is the connection from your pineal gland to your throat to your heart. That is the sound of the universe. And you're like, that sounds like hippie nonsense, but guess what? It's true.
Give it a gander.
Give it a Google.
Curiosity, try it out.
Yeah, seriously. So chanting. Oh, prayer. Big time. When you're talking, that's another Bobby Hemet. He's so good. You know where God is? You know where God is? In the mirror.
Ooh.
He goes, you look into the mirror, you look into your eyes, that's looking into your soul, and you have found God.
I done been
and
there,
talk about breadcrumbs. I was listening to, because because I posted a post today of get up, stand up.
Yes,
stand up
yeah, I
for
saw
your
it.
rights.
Yeah.
The fucking lyrics are,
Dude, Brett.
Almighty God is a living man.
Dude, Bob Marley
I
didn't
heard
know.
that shit 700,000 times when I was a kid smoking blunts, and it went so far over my head. And now I'm reading the lyrics as I'm like trying to post the song, post the meme.
And you're
I'm
having
like,
it, and you're spiritual in and out.
Yes, 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 yes.
No.
Yes, oh God. Yeah, so God is in the mirror. When you figure that out, you'll get there. But okay, so prayer. You could be praying to Space Daddy in the clouds, whatever you want, your God, Allah, fucking Moses, whatever. Or you could get deep with it. Talk to your higher self. Talk to your spirit guides. Talk to your cells. Talk to your higher self. Talk to other people's spirit guides. Talk to beings, aliens, ETs, entities, ancestors that have passed. Your level of how deep you want to go with this is
talk
all
to
yours.
whoever you think is listening, you know?
Call upon, talk to whoever's listening. That's a good one. Call upon saints and angels and whatnot.
Yeah, in Kundalini Yoga, Om Guru Dev Namo is, a chant or a mantra that connects you to the old sages and gurus of the past. You know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I believe it was Voltaire. This is a good quote.
Voltaire.
When you're looking for God, what you're looking for is who's looking.
Whoa.
Yeah. Stop and figure
Who's
that
looking
out.
where? When?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. You're searching for something outside of you.
Yeah.
And it's you the whole time. So here's two quick ones that are a way to get a spiritual connection, see and feel spirits, and get high as shit without any exogenous drugs of any kind. A sweat lodge, fasting.
Those good.
You can fast for health reasons, physical reasons. Many religion, Buddha was fasting, Jesus was fasting.
In the desert.
Muslims have Ramadan, where they have sacred fasting times throughout the year based upon their calendar and so many different spiritual practices that they have. If you fast long enough, you're gonna get trippy. Okay. If you get hot enough in a sweat lodge,
Gonna get trippy.
you're gonna get trippy. And there's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual benefits to these. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into the big two that are gonna be the biggest. Meditation is your bread and butter, right? That we're doing every day. And the two that are gonna really kick you in the nuts. Shadow work, and then we'll get into psychedelic and plant medicines and whatnot. But shadow work. Okay, this is letting go of shame. This is bringing awareness to the hidden parts of your psyche. This is examining your triggers with love and light and no shame and no judgment of yourself. That's looking at your blind spots, looking at your little idiosyncrasies and all the shit that's literally in your shadow. We talk about my man Carl Jung all the time. He spoke about this. This is the shit you've swept under the rug and ignored your whole life. That's running the show and programming yourself. Without you looking at it, shining love and light on it, accepting it, and healing it as a part of you instead of something that's eating you up and running your own subconscious.
There's that famous iceberg image metaphor, right? The conscious mind is what you can see, but there's the gigantic underneath your subconscious, unconscious, right? So the shadow, again, like the reason it's called the shadow is because you can't see it, right? Like if the sun's shining right at me, my shadow's behind me.
But you really can't see it for a reason because you're repressing it.
Yeah,
and a lot of it is childhood shame or
trauma,
just your little trauma responses that maybe you're unaware of the whole time. Like, you lie a lot, or you get angry and you yell a lot. Like all these little things. If you zoom out and you're like, why do I do that?
Where's that coming?
Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? Is a perfect way to do it. That's like a 101 shadow work.
Yeah.
I notice when I'm fucking stuck in traffic, or when this person says this, or when this person says that, I immediately yell or get mad.
When someone tells me to do this specific thing, I get upset.
I get triggered. Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
And just take a moment to reflect. And the answer is always going to come up. And then when it comes up, you got two choices. Accept it and love it and figure it out and be with it and incorporate it to a part of your being. And integrate it, or run from it and keep suppressing it. Eek.
Oof.
You got to reveal it to heal it.
There it is.
And what you resist, you assist. So a lot of fancy rhyming going on here. So when you reveal shit, that's the only way. You got to put it on the table and look at it and shine a light on it to see it. That's the only way it's going to heal. Or else just running the show behind the curtains. And And then when you resist things, you assist it. So anything you're pushing away, you're giving energy.
Equal and opposite forces, right?
Yeah,
it's pushing back at you.
It's pushing back at you. That's simple Newtonian physics.
Yeah.
So yeah, your shadow is all your little things that you think that if you aired your dirty laundry, you would be shamed for.
Yeah, shame's a big part of it.
But shame is a big part because that's the lowest vibrational energy there is. So when you're ashamed of your past patterns and behavior and trauma responses, you're keeping yourself down.
Yeah. It's almost like if I can't see it, it's not there.
Can't see it, it's not
so
there.
it's in my shadow.
This reminds me of like we were talking about the letting go and the meditation and the forgiveness and acceptance. It's like a backpack full of rocks.
Yeah.
This is like an anchor on your fucking ankle weight. So now you got the backpack, you got the anchor, and you're like, life is hard, life sucks, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, all these things, I don't want to live. You're like, yo, put down the backpack for a second. Then you'll be able to turn around and look at the anchor.
Yeah.
And then you can pick up and carry the anchor now, so you're not weighed down by it.
It's all. I also like the image of like a, imagine like a you know how people make shadow puppets with light.
Whoa.
Where it's like how many times have you seen the cartoon where someone sees a big scary shadow and it's like a mouse that runs out, right?
Every time,
right?
That's what it is because you think it's scary. Because every time I've done shadow work, it's either in deep meditation. Now I'm able to do it like whatever in this dimension consciously and be present with it. And that gets interesting. But when I first stumbled into it, read about it, actually done it and practiced it, it's in deep meditation, usually on psychedelic medicine.
Yeah.
So it's there, and your ego goes, oh, God, it's that thing. Run. Like something popped out. You swept something under the rug, and it just popped out. And your ego goes, hit it with a broom.
Kill it,
quick. Don't look at that.
Yeah.
Don't look at that. That's your shame center.
Yeah.
And then you have the presence because you're either in meditation or you have a spiritual practice and you're working on yourself and you're healing yourself. And excuse me, you take a deep breath and you're like, okay, where is this coming from? Why do I do this all the time? Examining your old patterns, habits, your old bullshit.
With a sense of detachment, right? Because as soon...
it's not me.
Because if you over-identify... Because what makes you want to kill is the idea that you are that. That's what makes you want to kill. Like, that thing is so ugly. I can't... I don't want to be that. 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 Kill it, kill it, kill it. It's not me. It's not me.
That don't help you.
That don't help. We just... Okay, well, ask a question. Get curious. Letting go and acceptance, right? That's what we talked about with meditation. Can I accept this? Can I get curious about it? Can I start to study it, you know?
Yeah.
Right, well, what's
That's always a good question, too, is like, can I live with this? Am I going to die? Any decision, any shadow aspect, anything is like, can I live with this? Am I going to die?
Yeah.
The answer is no. You're fine. And then you feel safe.
Yeah, because all fears really stems from the fear of death.
Boom.
Right? So, and all really negative emotions or reactions stem from fear coming from fear of death.
Yeah.
So it's all, if you can accept, like you said, is this going to kill me?
Yeah.
And if I practice, I know what death, is essentially at this point. Should I be afraid of it?
Nope.
Right? Or is there a reason to be afraid of it?
Just a little shadow, remember? Oh, it's scared of your
Peter
own
Pan.
shadow, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, so that leads me to the messages, lessons within Disney movies that we talked about before. They do a great job with the love and light as far as the songs, the characters,
the hero's journey,
the whole thing, and it's a happy ending all the time. But they also do a good job with shadow aspect of things. Like you said, there's Beauty and the Beast. He became the Beast, trapped as the Beast the whole time. Imagine,
he's cast alone.
Imagine somebody cast a spell on you and you were your shadow self all the time. That'd be fucked up.
That's immense.
But you're trapping yourself in that by not addressing it. You
know
what I'm saying?
And you become it.
What is it? Maleficent? Is that how I say the
Malfeasance?
word? Fucking. That's like what? Snow White's.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty's shadow aspect. So many of those.
Yeah, and then a Soul, like the most recent one, dude, with number 22, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
She gets kind of like lost in who she is. Like, I'm not worthy. I'm bad. And she turns into that big shadow monster, right?
Yep.
Literally a shadow monster.
Shadow monster.
That's it.
That's what Jung talked about. Wayne Dyer, even Jordan Peterson, who studied those guys.
Yeah.
Everybody's got monsters in the closet.
Yeah.
So you're going to keep stuffing them in there, or are you going to be like, okay, they're my fucking monsters.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of them. Like, we all, because that's the next thing. Show me somebody that ain't got monsters in the closet, never made a mistake, and is perfect.
Yeah.
I'll wait. You ain't going to find them. So now that we're all even, we're all busy. We all
Kevin Bacon and Footloose.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
And then when you realize when you're judging somebody else and shaming someone else, you're just shaming an aspect of your shadow that you don't like that you're seeing as a mirror and projecting your bullshit on
I see
somebody
them
else.
that in me. I hate that.
And I don't like it. I want to kill that.
Yeah.
I want to hate and judge that.
I want to kill it.
No. Love yourself, because now I've done that so much. When I see other people doing stuff, I go, oh God, and I have like loving compassion for them. I'm like, oh, I used to do that.
Oh man.
Ooh, ick. Ooh, yuck. And you're like, ooh, good thing I don't do that anymore.
Work through that
and
shit.
What happens is 3 days later you do that.
Like, no.
And then you laugh and love instead of judgment and shame.
Yeah. Again, like the more you can, again, going back to the very, very beginning, what you said, you are a spiritual being in a human experience. The more you can embody that idea, the less attached you are to your actions, your beliefs, your body, right? That all just becomes part of the experience for you to study and observe. And then once you can do that, again, you're not your actions, you're not your beliefs, you're not your body, so that you can begin to change it.
Yes.
When you're stuck in it,
that's so empowering.
When you're stuck in it,
it's like, this is all I got. I want it to end. All this shit.
Yeah, it's like
no.
It's like being
it's
being like being an actor in a movie versus being the producer and the director, right?
Acting. And then when you realize this whole thing is a movie, you are the writer, director, producer, and the star.
Yeah.
The only thing
it's a one-man show. It's one of those like crazy one-person shows.
One-man show. You can do whatever you want. Sing your song.
Play all the characters.
Play it all, dude. That's the best thing. You're fucking Robin Williams. Who does that? You're Eddie Murphy and shit.
Eddie Murphy, yeah.
Playing every fucking character. Do your thing. And then, so who does that? Eddie Murphy and Adam Sandler. Right?
Adam Sandler does that.
He's done that.
He's done a ton.
That's about it. And those are the best
Those
guys.
are the big guys.
No, you know who did it first? Maybe before Eddie Murphy? Michael Myers.
Oh,
not
of
every
course.
character, but like they added more and more.
He played it
like when you're
way
Dr.
more
Evil
characters.
and Austin Powers.
And
like
Fat Bastard.
And Fat Bastard and
Gold Member.
And Gold Member all in the same movie. That's pretty wild.
That's a lot.
That's funny. I love gold.
I love gold.
Okay, so shadow work. Everybody needs to. I think the only need to with a gun to your head, like would not gun to your head, but would benefit every human on Earth. Let's leave the guns out.
Spiritual gun. I love gun.
Would benefit. I love gun. The only three that would be quote unquote super necessary. That would benefit every human on Earth would be meditation, nature, and shadow work.
Yeah.
The rest are a toolbox that you can play with.
Yeah.
Last one is the most optional. Would be psychedelic medicine.
Potentially the most intense, for sure.
Oh,
potentially,
for sure, because you're stacking it with meditation, breath work, sorcery, yoga, and the fucking rest of it. Right. Literally all the above. Art, journaling, nature, like literally everything that you've done.
This is your D-bowl.
This is your this is your D-bowl.
You've been taking your protein, your creatine, which is helpful. You know,
saying your prayers, taking your vitamins,
you get your magnesium in. You know,
but sometimes you need a little steroids to take it to the top. The cream rises to the top. All right, little macho man. Hooah! So psychedelic medicine. If you start with eating a handful of mushrooms and you don't know how to drive a car and you hit the nitro boosters before you're fucking Vin Diesel, you're just getting fast and furious and Tokyo drifting all over the place. So don't do that, okay? But if you know how to drive the car and you know set, setting, and dosage, you can really boost yourself with some psychedelic medicines. The current cool, popular nomenclature is plant medicines, but just to clarify, sure, CBD, THC, ayahuasca, these are plant medicines, but like the bufo toad and 5-MeO DMT come from an animal. Okay.
LSD,
mushrooms is fungus. Right? LSD, sure, it could come from ergot, but like it's synthesized in a lab, so it's chemistry. So like we call it psychedelic medicine. I don't want to call it psychedelic drugs because people have I don't even want to say stigma, right?
Like a neurolinguistic programming to
neurolinguistic programming
to drugs.
Negativity
the word drug.
To the word drugs. But
drugs
once
are bad.
Again, I think that was not even Terrence McKenna, but Dennis was like, we're all drug dealers because we're all holding, because you have all those chemicals within your body.
Exactly.
You have the chemicals, you have the receptors.
Yep.
If you know how to access them through breathing, yoga, meditation, and different nutrition, you can get there, or you can take exogenous drugs, supplements, etc.
Yeah.
And people are like, I don't do drugs, but you take fucking Xanax, you drink wine, you pop Tylenol, and you drink coffee.
Yeah.
Come on, Karen, you're fucking doing drugs. Mine are just helping me fucking heal and get better and get a connection to God, nature, and the universe, and yours is getting you high and numbing your shit.
Yeah.
So,
Who's doing drugs?
Who's doing drugs? So now that and my shit's coming from nature, and has not only no side effects, but positive.
Extraordinarily positive.
Extraordinary. Okay? And this is not, once again, not. We've said when it is maybe hippie woo-woo nonsense. This is not hippie woo-woo nonsense. We're talking about major studies. Berkeley, Johns Hopkins, USC's doing big shit now. UCLA, I'm sorry, with DMT and whatnot, endogenous and exogenous.
Yeah,
crazy.
One of the most powerful tools to heal PTSD
from everything. I'm skipping around so much now because my brain's on fire.
Yeah.
But literally, DMT is called the God molecule or the spirit molecule.
Yeah.
Okay, that's dimethyltryptamine. It's produced in the liver, the lungs, potentially in the pineal gland. It's in every cell in your body. It's in fucking grass.
You can exude it endogenously, right?
Yo, you can do it. Yoga, meditation, breath work.
That's how all these people were doing it before there was like LSD or mushrooms. They were just sitting in, like these yogis, sages, gurus. They were doing it all natural.
And then when you talk about ayahuasca, when you strip down those chemicals, there's you have the vine and the leaf, right? Where there's DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine. You have the MAO inhibitor, with monoamine oxidase, which is like a stomach acid that helps you. Once it's inhibited, then you can uptake it, because if not, we'd be breathing and eating broccoli and getting high.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that you take that. But the chemical compound, once it's broken down, is called harmine. When they first discovered it, they called it telepathine, because it gives you telepathic powers. Ooh, this is fucking science. You can Google it.
Oh, yes.
So this is not hippie nonsense. Anyway, there's a bunch of studies. Google it. The Johns Hopkins study showed that everyone said that this was their most profound experience. Of their life.
Yeah.
Was their under therapeutic setting.
Yeah, there's right ways to do it. There's less productive ways to do it, because like we've both done psychedelics.
Okay, that's great.
Before we were spiritual, and not have the benefits.
Not at all.
And lots of people think of them as like party drugs, right?
I'm gonna get high, man. I'm gonna eat a bunch of mushrooms on Halloween.
It's gonna be so fucking fun. We're just gonna like watch fucking.
No good.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can do that, but
sure.
As far as the spiritual, it's like
we here at the Bridge do not endorse nor recommend.
I don't recommend. No,
but there are every ancient civilization, every tribal civilization, every Native American, every Native Indigenous civilization has some type of.
It's like you have a teleportation. It's like you have a time machine, and you just choose to go back like 5 years and just like
heal some shit up.
No, I'm saying like using mushrooms as like a party way is like. Using a teleportation machine to just go upstairs. It's like...
Yeah!
You're wasting the shit out of that, dude. You could do so much cooler shit. You're just like, I'm tired. I'm going to go upstairs.
Bezos took his rocket ship to go to, like, China.
Yeah, I took my rocket ship to Hawaii. From Seattle.
From Seattle to Hawaii. You're like, dog, you had a fucking rocket ship. You fucking moron. Yo. But anyway, you stack all these. Let's do a whole episode on this. Let's not even talk too much about this. Yeah, so anyway, when I was... making bad decisions when I was just a boy. Making bad decisions and pouring drugs, alcohol, negative thoughts, food, and self-abuse on top of trauma instead of looking at it and healing it. I did every drug under the sun. And I think I'm only alive now because I didn't really like opiates too much. I had a bad alcohol situation going on.
Yeah.
And then the psychedelic medicines always were super quote-unquote fun to me. I always had like a calling to it, but I never did it properly. Then I was completely sober for many years. Then I brought back in CBD, THC, and psilocybin, which you can Google them if you don't know what they are, but purely to heal.
Yeah.
Purely as medication, not to party or get high whatsoever. In appropriate set, setting, and dosage, okay? Mindset, place and time, and dosage per body weight situation, etc., and tolerance, personal tolerance, with healing intentions, setting your own intentions of what you want to do. And since then, like I said, there's been physical, mental, emotional, and now spiritual healing and growth.
Yeah.
That takes place. He goes, yeah. So if any of that rant made sense, it was, don't do drugs for the sake of partying. Know which ones are quote-unquote good and bad.
Yeah.
Because now I got to go on a big rant of like what they tell you in school, on the TV, from the government, from pharma is bullshit. So just because something is legal or from the government or prescribed from a doctor does not mean it's good. Just because something is illegal doesn't mean it's good or bad, right? So first you got to learn what's good and bad. Then you got to learn setting, and dosage, right? Before we're making judgments or before we're pouring everything in our body.
And I would say, like, with setting and dosage, just prep, which is what all this stuff should be for, because that's something that again, we both did it to party before we were spiritual, and now, and so us speaking from experience, it's much better to that's why in the studies they do it with a therapist.
Yeah,
they go through months of meditation and practice and work,
and in the
doing the actual
cultures,
work.
They do it with a shaman.
Exactly.
What is a shaman? A magician, a doctor, a wizard, a spirit guide.
So don't treat the psychedelic medicine as your pharmaceutical one magic pill.
No. It is
right?
not.
It's not.
That is the nitro booster.
Yeah.
That is the steroids. Bro, like you said, if you start doing steroids before you get a gym membership and learn how to eat right, you're a fucking moron.
You're not going to make use any of it.
And then, right, it'll work.
Maybe.
But you're wasting it completely.
Yeah, you're wasting completely.
Completely. But if you've lifted weights, a.k.a. meditated, for 10 years,
yeah,
you got your nutrition down, breathwork, nature, etc., and then you want to do a little bit of extracurricular to get to the moon,
you'll be able to
utilize it properly,
exactly.
safely, for good purpose, intentions with healing.
Yeah.
So hopefully that broke down enough stigma, and we can get into specifics.
Yeah, we'll do a whole series on those guys.
Yeah, and we'll do a whole series on those guys because we're pretty medium. If we were talking about black belts and stuff like that, we're probably at least
blue,
blue,
like a good blue or a purple, you know?
Right, getting into purple.
Purple.
Because there's black belts out there that we would never say we are yet.
No, definitely not.
But we've got plenty of experience to speak on it.
Yeah.
At least from personal experience. And what to do, what not to do type of thing. And so just to mention real quick what we do now, there's microdosing, which is you can take a wee bit, which
just a smidge.
Just for the people that are already triggered and turned off by this. CEOs, Silicon Valley, tech homies.
They're all doing it.
They're all doing it in small dosages just to get your brain firing better. Okay.
Connect
to the body and everything else. Because basically what you're doing is when people say, "Oh, you only use 10% of your brain," you're not. You're only using a sector of your brain at a time.
And they're not communicating with each other.
Not communicating properly. Thank you. So this makes neurons fire in different sections of your brain to light up in synchronicity.
Yeah, parts of your brain talk to other parts of your brain that they never did before. Imagine if that happened, right?
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
In so many different ways. So, like I said, microdosing, which is basically just not an untraceable amount, an unfeelable amount, let's say. That's not a very scientific word. A minimal micro amount. Yeah. For anxiety, depression, creativity, certain things like that. Then there's, like
your standard.
Your little standard that I'm doing more than once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
I won't even put out numbers for people, but a small amount where you're just getting in touch with nature, blasting open your pineal gland, getting a good breathwork.
And it's entirely relative because, again, we're both well versed, so like a small amount is
it's
very
relative.
different.
So that's why I want to give amounts. But then there's medium amount. Then there's your heroic dose, your 5 to 7 gram blast off, which should only be
that's like in
1 to 4 times a year at the most.
Yeah.
Where you're really
if you're doing 4, that means you're experiencing all these at a higher level.
Super experienced. So, like I said, we'll go into details on that, but I would like to say that is super beneficial. It's not bad just because school and the TV told you it was bad, but it's not necessarily good because the cool kids said it was good.
Yeah.
And it's completely optional. Put it that way. I loved when you compared it to steroids because it has the same stigma of being bad, but it's not bad if you do it right.
Yeah.
And
you have to know what you're doing first.
You got to know what you're doing first. Thank you.
For it to even work.
For it to even work properly, get the most out of it, and to do it safely.
Exactly. Safely.
Because nothing is good or bad. It's your intentions and your setting practice.
Tool.
It's a tool.
Hammer can kill and a hammer can build a house, right?
I can fucking whack you in the dick with it, or I can fix this fucking table. It's just a hammer. It's what you do with it and your intentions.
Yeah.
It's a tool. All right? So you got your sorcery toolbox or your fun stuff. You got your meditation every day, your breathwork when you can, your nature all the time, your journaling, writing stuff down, your creative expression, which is your art, your reciprocity, which is your charity, your service to others, your holidays, ritual ceremonies, your yoga, tai chi, qigong, your psychedelic plant medicines,
shadow
if you're at that level, and for everybody, shadow work. Examine your triggers, look at your blind spots, love yourself.
Love the monsters.
All love and light. When you face the shadow.
Exactly.
Okay? So don't bypass the shadow, but don't stay stuck in the mud either.
Yeah.
Embrace your shadow, love yourself, love your nature. God is in the mirror. Peace.
Bridge out.